Well, welcome to the Sensational Souls podcast, where I, Sue Goodrich, the Good Witch, get to interview heart-centered entrepreneurs who are doing soul work to evolve our world and where they share incredible value with us right here. Today, I want to introduce you to Michelle Boshard. Is it Boshard?
Michelle Boshard. Yeah, you got it.
Boshard. Okay. Welcome, Michelle. Where you hail from the other side, the west coast of
Yeah,
Canada.
I know. I love the Canadian representation here. But firstly, thank you so much for having me. Yeah, I'm on the West Coast. I'm not gonna lower myself to saying it's the best coast, but it is. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, I'm on the Vancouver Island in Victoria, BC.
I love that. I love that. I know it's a beautiful place because my sister and her husband spend their summers there because they live in Florida most of the year, but then they spend their summers there and they love it there. So I'm gonna
It's
have to come and visit for sure.
100% for
For
sure.
sure. Yes. So welcome, Michelle. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce Michelle. She is a biologist gone digital social entrepreneur. Michelle is a mission technician and a digital doula who helps people birth online businesses and craft technology in a way that is natural for them. And she does, as we just mentioned, hails from the West Coast, the best coast of Canada, and lives with her family in Victoria, BC. So today, Michelle is going to be talking about, we've got three little topic or bullet points we're going to talk about following your soul's purpose in your business, about body, mind, and soul. I get all of these. We are so on the same trajectory here. And how to make tech feel more natural. Wow, those are some big topics and perfect for us entrepreneurs. Michelle, would you kind of share with us what inspired you to become a mission driven, or yourself
Mission
a
technician.
mission technician and digital doula?
Yeah, well, it wasn't natural at first, and now, and so I'll tell you how I got there naturally, though. I am a mom of a guy on the autism spectrum who's nonverbal and self-injurious, and our family's journey, and supporting my family through all of his very intense needs and through some train wrecks in the education system and the medical system and even the legal system, have kind of driven our life, and in good ways. I think that there's many gifts that have come that are always born out of challenges, and that we are here on the planet on Earth School to learn things. And so what I've learned so much from my son and in serving his needs. And so what I did was I had a brick and mortar business where I was helping parents and families with respite and homeschool, because I had done that for my son because the system failed me and I needed to do it. And if I'm doing it for myself, I might as well do it for somebody else too. And so that was great. And it was good for the workers and kids and parents, but it wasn't breaking even as a business. And so, like any mama bear looking for a bake sale, I went looking for the things that were gonna, improve things. And also how during COVID, which was a pivotal kind of moment for everybody, but for me, it was sort of like, okay, now that I can't send people out to help people in their homes anymore, how do I actually still help my clients? So I started moving basically into the digital world. We all did. But my foray into it, I was like, okay, I really need to get on top of this. So lots of money was spent on lots of different trainings and business training, online development training, like how to do everything sort of thing. Because I kind of, on my mama bear search for money to keep up respite and homeschool and support for families, I looked at MLMs and cryptos and stocks and real estate and all the things that you could do. And one day I'm flipping around on TikTok, and I saw this kid with like gold teeth and a Lamborghini who was like 20. I'm like, come on, like there is money in their interwebs. Like, how come that can't just like be directly applied to our kids? Like, why do we have to have these systems that aren't working? Why can't we just like generate money and then make it easier for parents? Like that pay for respite. And so I decided that that's what I was going to do. And that was natural for me because I love one of the things that my son has taught me is that there's gifts inside of everyone. And I love helping people find out what their gifts are. And then not so much like, I'm not like you in the sense you do an amazing job of helping people transform and really kind of get themselves into those gifts. What I like to do is like help take what those gifts are and in the diamonds in the rough and polish them up as a business offer. And so help them packaging it, positioning it, placing it in a way that honors them and that they feel good about and are proud of and can shine. But then also provides it's transformational service that the people I like to help provide in that they actually provide something that people want and need to buy because it helps them in their life. And then I help them. So once we've crafted that and positioned that, then I help them build the tech to make it work right. So that's sort of like what I say. And when I do that is like every human is different you need to balance your life. Like with my life, I have a lot on. Like I have a lot, at the time I had a mom in facility, a full-time government job. I was running a team of 8 people and I had my son's homeschool curriculum to design, develop, and deliver. So, we're busy people. We need things that, eventually that kind of crashed and I basically shifted into a more genuine place about what was authentic for me and helping people. And but what the nugget and why I call myself the natural entrepreneur is because it needs to be designed around, I mean, because you do human design, it needs to be designed around who you are authentically, why you're here on the planet, what your purpose is, what your tendencies are, how your day rolls, right? Like I like to keep it real. And so, if you're somebody who loves to do podcasts, great. If you hate the camera and you would rather do a blog, great. If you would rather have something automated because you got another stuff to do and you just want things, to sell on your website, great. We can build all of those things. And so, but really understanding who you are, what your gift is, what you're serving the world with, and how you're re-diversifying the business ecosystem, which has just become kind of this corporate monoculture. And part of the reason I also am a natural entrepreneur is because I love to see people's businesses redefine the way the world works in terms of business, that we have purpose and that, it doesn't have to be all like, pablum, corporate crap. It can be individual. It can be exciting. That can be large scale. You don't have to be a little guy. The tech is there to support you in delivering your message now. So yeah, just shining your natural life, having it built around your natural tendencies, having it built around your natural situation, and making that tech feel natural for you to use. So that's me.
There you go. Yeah. And I love that. Like, I mean, I think, it's so important to live a life on purpose because at the end of the day, even at the end of our life, like if we go to the end of our life and we look back and we regret that we stuck into a job because, that's what somebody said we were supposed to do instead of following our heart and stepping into what it is that we want to do. And for me, I know that that what that peace feels like, it feels like fulfillment. Like at the end of the day, do you feel fulfilled? Or are you feeling like you're on that treadmill and still running because sometimes it's just little things like you and I, connected earlier and I was doing some of my magic, right? I was sharing a little bit of my magic with you. And literally that I'm going to go to bed tonight and go, I just fulfilled my purpose because that's what I do, right? Like, and I think that everybody needs to do that. They also need to feel what that is. Like, what does fulfillment look like to you, right? It's
Well, and not
individual.
just accepting that it's you live most of your life kind of like you have to, and then that sometimes you get this occasional glimpse of joy, like no, people, it is supposed to be all joy. Like, you know, it is not supposed to be something, feeling joy in the process of getting there can, like, it doesn't always feel joyous. But what I'm saying is that you don't have to kind of like work up and then just like have this little glimpse of happiness, right? Like that it is actually possible to design something naturally around so that you feel like just that those pieces of joy, and you're accepting and grateful and receiving the uplifting stuff, more of the time than you're not, I guess, is
Right.
sort of like.
Yeah. And I want to reflect on your comment about that individualness, because truly that is what we call authenticity, right? When we learn to step into our own authentic way of being. And I know people my age, and of course, I'm in my late 60s, and I've had people I know who are my age are like, oh, I can't be that authentic. Somebody's just gonna, make life really difficult for me if I do that. But I don't know if you're aware of, but I just want to, the Spain scale of emotion actually recognizes authenticity as the highest frequency that we can have. And of course, when we're vibrating at a higher frequency, then we're going to be changing everybody else's frequency. We're going to be uplifting them. And I'm just going to share this little piece about manifesting generators that I've learned and that's both you and I are manifesting generators from the human design, for those who don't know what I'm talking about, is that our job is to make sure that we are fulfilled, that we filled our bucket high enough, because when we have this capacity to overfill our bucket, and that
Yes.
overflowing is really to serve the rest of the people around us, and it uplifts them. I mean, that's what I began to understand. And so it's really important it's because this is one of the things that I see a lot of people do is they burn themselves out. And I've been there, and we're not serving our purpose when we're burning ourselves out. We're
No,
not.
I have been through that. I've been through that loop, and it does not end well. And then I don't know about you, but I'm kind of like the frying pan, like the universe whispers, and then it'll speak a little louder, and then it'll shout, and then it'll hit you with a frying pan. I'm a frying pan learner. I had to go through that, and so definitely, if you can listen and listen to those cues, you're way, way better off for sure.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's going to lead us into that next little piece about body, mind, soul, right? So another one of the topics we wanted to bring forward was body, mind, soul, that place of balance, and really like
Right.
learning to listen, right, at that deeper level.
It did. And when I told you about the we get into the, especially as moms, and especially as women, we get into especially with particular childhood experiences. It can be super easy to really easily track in on a enabling, people pleasing, like caregiver burnout, kind of like just drive, serving, and never taking that time. And, I think there's a real shift going on, and it has a feeling to it, like women are starting to realize that that's not where their power is. Their power is inside of themselves and in reflection on who they are and what they need. And that, yes, they can do all the things. Like, we've gotten to a point in our world where, yes, we can do all those things. Now, what do we actually want to do, and why do we want to do it? What's important? What are the priorities? What's natural for us? Why are we declining our true identities and smashing ourselves into these boxes, to like we were talking about before, basically, work, and then get a little bit of joy, instead of just being our natural selves, living out our natural purposes, lifting ourselves into that, and patting ourselves on the back for that, and caring for ourselves to move ourselves towards that. when rather than hopping to societal expectations or any other type of thing. So what I over time and what I've put together about this and the body the reason I wanted to talk about body mind and soul stuff is because you have to look at it from all of those angles. Your mindset and how you think and your thought patterns, the way your meat sac between your ears works, how it functions, how it protects you, all of the neurolinguistic pieces and the physical pieces in your body that are tied to it, how you react to things, how you can manage that, how you can change that, because sometimes it feels like you can't. And I've been to the place where I've said I think the kids would be better off with the life insurance money than me, but I'm not there anymore. And so how does that happen? How do you manage your own body? How do you manage your own mind? How do you manage your own emotions? How do you manage your own spirit? And you have to sort of look at each of the pieces. So there's the physical piece, the emotional piece, like the mental piece, and then there's the spiritual piece, right? And for me, a lot of those things didn't start falling in place until I really started bucking the systems that were telling me how I needed to be and how I needed to think and how I needed to act. And it really actually wasn't until my mom passed. I was holding her hand and she left, and I'm like, and I've got a science background. So I had never been sort of like, when I was younger, I participated in different religious stuff, and I had sort of, gravitated more to just, okay, well, there's no one framework that is right. And, it's spiritual, whatever anybody needs. But it wasn't until that moment that I kind of went, okay, I studied sciences. This is law of conservation of mass. And I really want my mom, where'd she go? And I really started looking into that other energetic, imperceivable, non-tangible side of existence, and how the energy world and the physical world are connecting. And it was actually a moment when after she passed, that I was out in nature and realizing, it's a lot like, for me, the visual that came to me was, water coming out of vapor form into water form into ice form, and that energy sort of crystallizes. And so, like, when you're working with your energy field, and then I went on to study a lot of energetic practices and became involved with pranic healing and that sort of thing, and learned a lot about the manifestation process, and how our physical minds and our subconscious limiting beliefs actually shape things, right? So it's all the pieces are always there for everybody to learn, and it just depends on what your path was, and you pick these up. If you listen to them and you're not a frying pan of a learner like me, you can actually pick them up without too much trauma, and you can, like, start to apply them. But one of the pieces for me is, like, with body, mind, and soul, it's like, we are not our emotions, and we are not our thoughts, and we are not our bodies. We are that being who feels the things, who creates the feelings to feel, who creates the thoughts to think, and who has the feelings in our body and moves our body to move. That we are separate from that. We are the other piece that is sort of like, we're wearing this. We're a spiritual being having a human experience.
Yeah.
And so when you go to rebalance your life, and when you go to build your business, you have to kind of make something that is going to fit naturally with all of those pieces, body, mind, and soul.
Absolutely. Yep. Because we are energetic beings, right? We truly are. And yeah, I know that even in the coaching work that I do, like, I always bring people in through deep meditations where we connect to a greater field, because, like your frying pan thing. I mean, it's because, most of the time, most of us are running on this treadmill where we're in this fight or flight, and we're not in our bodies. And what I know is that when we're in that fight or flight, of course, we have blinders on and we cannot see all the possibilities. And it's only when we can drop into our bodies and really connect with our soul. But what I see is that the one of the things that makes it very hard for people to drop down into their beings is any trauma that they've had, and it doesn't allow them to feel safe in their body. And those are the pieces that we need to tap into and transform in order to really pull out, what those other pieces are, right? Like that is really, really,
100%.
yeah.
100%. And you can only be a better business person when you do that. Like a business person, a business is like 80% of the success of a business is what's going on inside of its owner, especially between its the person's ears. And there is a financial, if you're thinking about, oh well, all this woo woo crap, or like whatever, no, there's financial gain to be had by having a balanced mind, soul, and body. Like that the best entrepreneurs are self-aware and have those connections figured out and how they work, because if you're tripping up, your business is going to trip up. And you need to be in your body, you need to be connected to your higher self and receive your purpose to be able to deliver it in a way that serves, which is what connects with other people, which is what they want, which is why they'll give you your money. Like that's the deal. And so it's really, it's a tricky path to kind of slide into that dance, right? Like you have to figure it out yourself. It has to be a natural way there for you. But
Right.
yeah.
And I think that it's really important for us to have other people to reflect some of that stuff to us, because we can't see our own stuff. You talk about you were talking about something that just kind of reminded me of my Soul Aligned Business Blueprint program, right? Which really I took a look at how I was really successful and overlaid it with my life coaching skills, right? My transformational life coaching skills. Yeah. So that, because what I know is that when we're stuck in a part of our business, there is something else in the life part of ourselves that's going on that's preventing us from taking those next steps. Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. So that it's a holistic thing, right? Like that whole body, mind, soul. I get it. I know that when I joined your group that I was like, oh man, I'm finally with people that really get that I feel like
Aw.
I belong here. Yeah, no, I totally, totally, totally get that. Right. Yeah. And so the third thing you wanted to mention was how to make your tech feel more natural, because
Oh,
I've just like, because one of the things that has dropped in for me doing this was like, oh, it's time to, because I'm a tech trainer. I mean, that's kind of what I did for 30 years before I became a coach. And I was like, wait a minute, what I see when we talk about the terror or the scared stuff is like creating tech for the terrified. But what I love about what you do, you can actually do it for people as well, right? Like that is one of
yeah.
the things. So do you want to talk a little bit about the tech, how to make the tech feel more natural?
Yeah, well, and because when we have this fight or flight, it was like, oh, Jack, and then we don't want to go near it, or it's we're spending so much time on it that we're actually taking the focus off of what we like to do and what we play at and what our actual purpose is. That's where I kind of like to I've discovered it because I didn't I'm a science geek and I love science and I love tech. I never thought that I would be into software building and and business tech. But as I started really leaning into the fact that I love to I was a rock collector when I was a kid. When my mom was a biologist and always used to take me out in the nature and we'd go to the beach and like look at cool rocks and I love to pick up these rocks and find gems. And I find like people are the same. It's like, oh, you're cool, like what? Like, oh, look at you this way. And I love to just like polish them up and like put them out there for display because they're beautiful. And I love that they're natural beauty. And so when I think of the tech and when I work with the tech, I don't want to just like schlep tech. Like I don't want to sell software subscriptions. That's not what it's about for me. What it's about for me is understanding who you are and what you do and what your gift is. And oh my gosh, this is really cool thing that you could use to make this go better. And so like I get really excited about, okay, well, you could do a challenge or you could do this or you could do that. And so I like to take a look at what the person's actual natural offer ecosystem is that sets them apart and puts their gift into the world and makes the broader business world more diverse. And I say, okay, to make that function and to have that impact, you can automate this and do that, because if you can drive into the thing that you love and that you're natural at, that only accelerates your business and accelerates your impact in the world. And so I love to just basically customize the tech. And I've done a lot now and learned a lot about, different types of people and different types of approaches, and being sort of like a tech, it's like I call myself a mission technician, because I want to support what you're doing for your mission, but I want to be the tech geek, but not just a tech geek that kind of like, I really, what happened was I went through the whole, okay, I want to do this offer and I'm inspired by it. And then you end up, kind of being the operator, not the owner. And you kind of like, you're doing all the things and you're finding all the pieces and you're stitching all together, and you get this Frankenstein set of software to try and do all of the pieces. I call it death by 1,000 software cuts, like 4,000 million passwords to do the types of things that you want to do. And it's a pain in the ass, frankly. And you just want something simple. You don't want to be paying all this 4,000 subscriptions, and just simplifying it. And it took me a really long time to find the thing that worked for that. And tech has taken so many advancements, doing
Um,
many year leaps forward every day now, that I'm in a good position to help people with that. I have a software system that I also have a tech partner in, who does the deep coding and the security and all the deep stuff, and I do the customization and the branding, the sales and the understanding, and how we can put the tech to advantage for you. So I like to customize things around people's individual offers that are natural for them, and build just what they need. Instead of what happened for me is like, okay, I could do it all myself and have all that problem. Or I could, when I was doing it, was like, you can either do it yourself and get the death by 1,000 software cuts, or you could go to a $30,000 to $50,000 a year marketing agency, and they build it all out for you at a gajillion dollars. So I've done the death by 1,000 software cuts thing, and I didn't want to do I've heard people pay like crazy money for a marketing agency to do it for them, and then keep their stuff when they wanted to leave. They like, you couldn't get it out of them because it was their build, right? And I just thought that was so unfair to our purpose-driven, heart-driven entrepreneurs who really do have something to re-diversify the business ecosystem and deliver impact and transformation to their clients. And so I wanted to help them co-create. Like, I got really inspired by that, because I'm this rock collector who loves to be with people who have cool stuff. And so I just really designed my offer is about co-creating. If you're scared of the tech, I can co-create it with you. I've got a program that tells you, okay, how to do it yourself if you want. That's like a do-it-yourself program, and you work through it. And that's and then I'm doing a 21-day challenge coming up around that. So watch for that. And it'll be basically working through every step of how to build and then position in the market and then launch, and the things you need to think about. And so that'll be like, I don't know, take you from like, I don't know what the heck I'd do to your first sale. And that's sort of like the first level of stuff that I do. The second level of stuff is like, I have an offer, but it's not doing real great, and I don't know what's wrong, and I don't have time for everything, and I need it simpler, and I want more impact. And so that's where I sit down and we co-create your system, your audience, your sales process, everything that you need inside the tech as a package. And then that's in 12 weeks. Usually I do that as my co-creator program. And then and we go back and forth. It's a done with you sort of program where you tell me what you need, then I build it. And you tell me what you need, and we go through it 12 weeks, and then you learn it as I teach you. I'm doing the coaching, and then you can run it, and you're off to the races. And then there's a done for you. So that's a whole nother set of things, and that's just straight up tech. So those are the things that I do. But I usually start off with folks by just like learning about them, doing an offer ecosystem assessment to map out for them. Sometimes it's just even mapping out like what you're doing and what you're not doing and why, and who's, just like mapping it out into an offer ecosystem map of how your offer works. I think of it like either, some people do well with the analogy of like There's water, soil, plants, and insects and animals that all work together in an ecosystem. And your offer has all those pieces in it, and they work together as a system. Or other people prefer more like of a car analogy, where your engine is made up of all sorts of different parts, but they're all hooked together and they need to function to be able to make the car go. And so I like to help you identify the parts, where they go, and then build them. If you're missing an alternator, we can build you one of those, right? So that's sort of the analogy. So,
Cool.
yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. So how can people find you? How can
Oh,
they find you? Because if they wanted to get some help with their tech, they want to like absolutely figure out what they're doing, you know,
yeah. Yeah.
if they feel,
So I've got a group called the Natural Entrepreneur on Facebook, and in it I do coaching. My website is naturalentrepreneur.ca, and it has a button up in the corner where you can book a call with me, either for an offer ecosystem assessment or to take a look at the coaching programs and talk with me about those things. And then I have a TV show that I do on Empower Network TV. I've got 13, well, just 13 episodes there now, but I'm going to get back to that this coming week. And yeah, looking for guests, thinking that you're going to have to come on my program, Susan. And yeah, talk about your offer ecosystem, because I love love your offer ecosystem, and your meditations that you've done in the challenge when we met. Like, I'm just feel so lucky because they are so grounding and they help me balance my body, mind, and soul. And it's just I can see it's natural for you, like that. Like meditations I do, but I don't help other people through. And the way that you just like ground people and into their own selves, and you can really help them uh, identify who they are with the human design stuff, and then where they want to go and what they want to be, and to bring them there. It's just like, it's such a gift. So I just want to thank you for being you and for having me here to talk
well,
about
thank
things.
you. Thank you. Thank you. I want to celebrate you for standing up and shining your light and sharing your brilliance with this world here for, bringing, making entrepreneurship a more natural and just allowing us to be in that natural space, right? And I know I didn't give you a prep for this one, but do you have a final piece of wisdom that you would like to share? Do you have a quote or something that you would like to leave our audience with?
Can it be funny? Because I'm just
It
like in
can
that kind of
be
mood
any,
today.
well, because I know you've
My
got.
my World War II grandfather was quite a character, and he always used to tell me, "Don't fry bacon naked." That's my advice.
I love that. I love that. Oh my goodness, what an image.
Yeah,
If
you
you're a
kind of don't want to
visual
go
person,
there.
if you're a visual person, you got that one. But who didn't? I don't know. I could feel the grease already splattering all over my body. Oh my goodness.
Just for fun, just because.
Well, because as in human design, I'm a feeler. Like that's my thing. Yeah. And I just want to do a little shout out about the group that because I met you, Michelle, inside your natural entrepreneur group that you've been holding every day. And it's so much fun because one of the things that I recognize that with human design, as I was learning more about human design, is that we can actually share our brilliance with each other just by being in proximity. So I have a very deep intuitive knowing, and I was just looking at Michelle's chart this morning and helping her out with a little something she was trying to make some decisions on. And I was like, oh, she doesn't have a defined intuition, a defined spleen, as we call it. And I said, well, here, I'm here. You can share, I'll share my energy with you and away you go. So apparently all we have
Yeah,
to do is be in proximity. And it's a great group because there's a whole bunch of manifesting generators who have just so much energy. So if you need to be
right.
inspired, and Michelle has a defined route, which I do not, so it makes a perfect way for me to get motivated in the morning. And so, yeah, so it's a really great thing. Is that an open? I'm not sure what that is. Is that part of one of your
Yeah, well, so I have we came in you came in on a 15-day to 15 client challenge. The next challenge I'm doing is the offer ecosystem build challenge. But I have the subscription community where you can attend this, workspace every day. I do 8 a.m. Pacific for an hour. And that's part of the feature of my subscription community, where I also put these challenges and I also put my coaching and I also put other things. So yeah, so that's all there for the taking. Would love to have you. And yeah, I love to kind of collect people together and like I'm body double as a ADHDer, that really helps me. And so, when you need consistency and you can't flip around and you need,
Mhm.
you want to be in the presence of other like-mindedness, then that's space that I love to just like make the container for. So
Yeah, and it's
we're
awesome.
honored to have you there.
Yeah, so thank you, Michelle. It's been so wonderful having you in this podcast. And listeners, thank you for your attention. If you're looking for more help around breakthroughs, and you can text the word blueprint to get on my calendar, and you can text that to 1-844-504-1500. That will get you on my calendar so that you can get some clarity around what it is that you're looking for, or on what's been holding you back, so you can make a plan, right, to get to the next level, right? Whether that's motivating your business, maybe another place in your life. I mean, it's all open, because we're life, right? We're doing life here and business together. So you can reach out there, or you can check me out on transformwithsue.com/more. There's more. I have my academy in there where you will find the meditations that Michelle was mentioning. I have some of them there that are, complimentary, and you can get on the free 21-day reminder text you to practice magic every day, because I know that's how we create, right? Thank you. And what I'm going to do is we'll be putting all these links in the show notes, so be sure to check them out. There's so much good stuff here, so much. And remember, it is never too late to make your dreams come true, and may your day be filled with magic. Bye for now.